MSA is committed to continuous product improvement. From time to time, improvements may change the appearance or function of your product. Check www.msanet.com for the latest in training materials. This program is a supplement to, not a substitute for, the operating manual that came with your product. Read the manual carefully before using the instrument. The product will perform as designed only if it is used and maintained in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Otherwise, it could fail to perform as designed, and persons who rely on the product for their safety could sustain serious personal injury or death. The Altair 5X multi-gas monitor is designed to enhance worker safety by detecting combustible and toxic gases and vapors and oxygen-deficient or oxygen-rich atmospheres. The instrument detects up to 30% oxygen in ambient air, but it is approved only for use up to 21%. The Altair 5X multi-gas detector is available with a standard monochrome display or an optional color display. The Altair 5X multi-gas monitor runs on a rechargeable lithium-ion battery pack or an optional alkaline battery pack with 3 AA batteries. Depending upon conditions, the lithium-ion battery pack can power the unit for up to 20 hours. The lithium-ion battery pack has a built-in LED charge indicator. Red indicates that the battery pack is charging. Green indicates a full charge, and amber indicates a fault. The Altair 5X multi-gas monitor uses up to 5 gas sensors. An MSA XL combustible gas sensor, XL oxygen sensor or 2 toxic gas sensor that detects both carbon monoxide and hydrogen sulfide, an exotic toxic sensor such as ammonia, chlorine, or sulfur dioxide, and an IR sensor for carbon dioxide, propane, methane, or butane, which expands the capabilities of measuring up to 6 gases simultaneously. Alarm levels for individual gases are factory set. The Altair 5X multi-gas detector is menu-driven using 3 function buttons. The on-off button turns the instrument on and turns the backlight on in measurement mode. To turn the instrument off, press and hold the on-off button for about 4 seconds. The Altair 5X multi-gas detector has 2 potentially life-saving alarms. Motion alert activates a man-down alarm if the unit does not detect motion for 30 seconds. Instant alert lets users manually activate audible and visible alarms to help rescuers find them in an emergency. The Altair 5X multi-gas detector monitors itself and 5 gas concentrations for alarm conditions. Flashing green, safe LEDs indicate that the system is working properly. See the operating manual for details on safe LED indications. Press the on-off button to turn the instrument on. The instrument performs a self-test. It checks its display, audible, visible, and vibrating alarms. The instrument displays the MSA logo. Software version, instrument name and serial number, company name, department, and username. Asks the user to perform a pump flow test. If the test fails, the instrument enters a pump fail state and it will shut off in 60 seconds. The turn-on sequence continues and checks for a change in the sensor configuration. If the sensor configuration changed, the unit displays a configuration changed message. The user can accept or decline the changes. If the instrument does not detect a sensor configuration change, the turn-on sequence continues and the instrument displays low, and high alarm set points. Short-term exposure limit or STEL, and time-weighted average or TWA alarm set points, calibration cylinder settings, the current date, the last calibration date, sensor warm-up progress. Fresh air setup prompt. Do not activate the fresh air setup unless you are certain you are in fresh, uncontaminated air. Otherwise, inaccurate readings can occur which can falsely indicate that a hazardous atmosphere is safe. If you have any doubts as to the quality of the surrounding air, do not use the fresh air setup feature. Do not use the fresh air setup as a substitute for daily calibration checks. The calibration check is required to verify span accuracy. Failure to follow this warning can result in serious personal injury or death. To skip the fresh air setup and go directly into measurement mode, press the up arrow. Press the down arrow button to enter fresh air setup. If the instrument detects a hazardous gas concentration, it will ignore the fresh air setup command and enter an alarm state. Within preset limits, fresh air setup sets all sensors to 0. If the instrument passes the fresh air setup, it automatically enters measurement mode and is ready to use. If a sensor's 0 point falls outside the preset limits, the display identifies the faulty sensor. If the instrument fails a fresh air setup, repeat the process. If it fails a second time, do not use the instrument. Contact the MSA Instrument Service Department at 1-800-MSA-2222. If the instrument passes the fresh air setup, it automatically returns to measurement mode and presents two options: